Everyone, welcome to another episode of the Team-Stirr Show, also known as Stewart Talk, and another fabulous name someone gave me, The Bunker with Borges. All right, so welcome everyone. I am your host, Brother Daniel Borges, and we're going to have another episode. Let's get started. Let me read the particulars first, and then we cover our rear ends over here, and then we'll get started with the show. The facts and dates and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are my own, Daniel Borges, and do not necessarily represent my employees' positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act. All right. Well, God bless you guys. God bless America. And God bless the working man. Welcome to another show. I want to discuss some things. As far as contract updates, there is none. I am confident that O'Brien and the entire team is up there continuing to get things done. We have 57 days left before this contract expires, and let's hope there's no nonsense going on with the company, but this is what it is. But I'm here to discuss a couple of issues that I think I need to bring to light while we're waiting for things to happen. But let's get started. The last episode that I shared with you guys was from the union meeting, and during that union meeting someone went up to speak, an ex-member of the executive board. Like I said, I do respect the guy, but his opinion does not supersede my opinion. So he spoke out in saying that if you speak about issues that are going on with the local and it reflects poorly on the local and the executive board itself, it's the equivalent to a person speaking against your country when we're at war. So I went through a whole rant on that. You can watch the video. It's up there. And, to me, it was wrong because anyone should be able, in this country, everyone should be able to speak out. As long as it's the truth, it is what it is. But everyone has the right to speak out. So I want to bring up a couple of topics that you decide for yourself whether I should be speaking out on these things or not. These topics are going to reflect poorly on the executive board. But this is what it is. And this is stuff that needs to be spoken about. So let me get started with one of the topics. We have a lot of layoffs going on. Right now it's kind of died down a little bit. But what made no sense is that the company said there wasn't enough work, which is just going on nationwide, this nonsense, but they're laying people off. But while they're laying people off, they're putting up lists for extra work. You see, it's something that makes absolutely no sense. How can you have extra work when you're saying you don't have work? For me, the guys who decide to work it, I don't have the issue with the guys who are working it. I really, really don't. This is an issue that should have been seen and forecasted by the people we pay at the executive board to take care of. And something should be being done about it because it doesn't make any sense. You see, the extra work, what it's doing is justifying the layoff by it fills in the gap where you don't have those guys that are in. So we give all these guys extra work. We cover up 4 extra days. And okay, so what? We pay guys extra money. But on top of that, we're actually supporting the layoff by doing that. Like I said, I don't have an issue with the guys who are doing it. That's your right, because this is something that goes beyond the member itself. This is something that the executive board should be doing. But, saying that there's nothing we can do is absolutely unacceptable. And it is. So the overworking of people and all this other stuff for the sake of their numbers, using less manpower is just wrong. So it's just, you can equate it to when they do in package car. In package car, when they want to eliminate routes, use less manpower, they eliminate their route. They dump all the work on extra drivers. They spread it out. So now, while they're trying to play with their numbers, with our health and with our bodies, for the sake of numbers, it's taking a wear and a toll on us. So they do that. They overwork them. Now they're doing the work with less people, but the body, the checks are being written out, but the ones who are cashing those checks are our bodies. And like I said, to continue to ignore it is just, it's wrong. It's just wrong. So like I said, it's just a numbers game. The only issue that I have for me is if the stewards know what is going on. The stewards see the behind the scenes and how these layoffs are being used are being weaponized to use as a tactic for the company to play their little numbers games, or who knows, even to retaliate against us because of the negotiations. So as far as I'm concerned, it's my opinion that the stewards really shouldn't be doing it, because we have to set the highest standard. We're the ones that knows what goes on behind the scenes besides the average driver. So for us to ignore it and for us to then partake in it, it's just helping the layoffs to keep it go even longer. And for a steward, I think it's just inappropriate. I really think it is. And guess what? While maybe the executive board doesn't want to do anything about it because they're concerned about the guys who are getting the extra work and they want them to make the most money, guess what? You got to represent those guys that are laid off too. And to see another guy quit because he has to be in the hub and he's not getting his pay is less than what it was when he was working, waiting for his pay to go up. It's just, I mean, what can you say? Words can't really explain it. It is just another thing that is wrong. So one thing that they can do to resolve it is, listen, let those guys come to work. The guys who are asking for the days off, who are using sick days, who want to use their option days, if the work is so slow, the fact that they're not allowing guys to not use their option days, denying them, that shouldn't be happening. So everyone who signs up for an option day and wants to use that day, they shouldn't be denied, because obviously there's no work. So if the work is slow, allow the driver to exercise his option day. But they don't want to do that. Why? Because it's really not slow, at least for us. Other parts of the country, yeah, but for us, things are pretty much normal. It really is. And it's just one of their agendas, the company's agendas, to make things look like as if it's not, So the next thing I want to talk about, another issue, hub shop stewards. Our Edison hub shop steward is a guy who has to get a t-shirt made up, and he has to put shop steward on the back of it. And usually when you got to do something like that, it's because no one knows you're a steward, because you're absolutely not doing your job. This guy is an absolute disgrace. I would say his name, but I'm really trying to refrain from doing that. I'm really trying not to do stuff like that. But he's continuing to ignore supervisors working so he could cut himself his little deal to work outside doing car wash work, which he shouldn't be doing. He's an article driver. His first part of his job is to do pallet work or whatever he does for car wash, and then his second half he used to drive erect mules in the building. But now he doesn't do that anymore. You see, he's being used as, if you keep the shop stewards out of the building, what grievances are they going to file? And that's the problem. So he sees this, he likes this. He isn't filing any grievances. He's ignoring the supervisors that are working. And I'm letting the people at the executive board know this is what's going on, especially with him. Just Friday alone, I was hearing about the hub in Cranberry. The hub in Cranberry was out of control with supervisors working. Why is this being allowed to go on? Are grievances being filed? Are people getting paid for this? Because if the stewards are not filing the grievances, then maybe we need to do it. It's a shame that feeders needs to also get involved in the hub, which is a problem in itself. But listen, if you hub stewards are being told to ignore these things and to turn a blind eye to it, then say something. Because if you're not, then you're catching the blunt of this. You're catching, you're going to catch the heat for this, because we got guys laid off. Supervisors working. Of course, the one disgraceful steward in Edison, he's doing whatever the hell he wants to do. And of course, they're covering up for him and allowing him to do it. Both parties. Is a problem in itself. Listen, I see a guy, if the executive board likes to use other locals, compare themselves to other locals. You see, this local doesn't do this local doesn't do that. Local 804, Vinny Perone, is one of the toughest. I see this guy. I see he's always informing his members. He's constantly encouraging and equipping his members to file grievances and educating them on their rights. We don't do that here. Over here, it's more like a passive state, and it's more like worry about yourself attitude. Don't worry about us, worry about yourself, and that doesn't go on here. So since they like to compare themselves to the to other locals, guess what? 804 doesn't do and allow the stuff that we're allowing. They don't. The members are well equipped and know how to file grievances. But we're not encouraged to do that. You don't hear anybody speaking on that at all. But the next issue, you see, here we go issue. This is something that I should, be silent on or say something about? Has to be one of the two. Can't be, these are issues that are going on. If you're a shifter and you're being harassed in Cranberry and while doing your moves, your moves disappear while you're trying to do it. They're doing it because they're trying to meet whatever performance numbers it takes for a person to do a move. They're trying to do that on their own by making your move disappear and then forwarding your next move and just harassing you to move faster and faster and faster. If that's going on with you, you got to let a steward know so that he can handle it. And that needs to be a harassment. If this practice continues to go on, what probably needs to happen is we need to be aggressive, notify OSHA about the unsafe and hazardous work environment that we're working in. Because the last thing I want is to see shift that's flying through the yard while I'm trying to do a pre-trip or trying to walk, because they're only the building's only concern is, you got to do these moves. You got to do them fast enough. You're not doing them fast enough. And the reason that we have to go to this extreme is because nothing is being done. Nothing gets done, and sometimes we gotta go the extra mile because other people want to make this look like it's just something normal, like we should just get used to it. And we're not going to. We're not. So I think I got two more topics. Another topic is if you are a driver, feeder driver, and an on-road soup happens to just come behind you and watch everything you're doing for the sake of trying to get you to get out faster, you need to really notify a supervisor. I heard that happen to a guy. All he's doing is pre-trip. The problem is the guy for the company is very thorough in his pre-trips. He's very exact on what he checks, and he knows what he's looking at. And so he has to wind up going to the shop, and guess what happens? Then he doesn't make his pull time. You see, because the pull time supersedes the safety of the vehicle. If that happens to you and somebody's riding you like that, let a steward know. File a grievance. You need to file a grievance because, this type of harassment, this tactic to try to compromise your inspection of the equipment should not be tolerated at all. So that needs to be addressed. And one of the last and final things before we go is Article 37 talks about our safety rides. If you've gone on more than one safety ride, let a steward know. From what I understand, this is going to arbitration right now. They made up this ridiculous new way of saying it's not a safety ride, calling it something else when it's just a safety ride, and it can be used as a tool to harass you. Article 37, Section 2, not more than one member of management will ride with the driver anytime except for the purposes of training management personnel. No driver will be scheduled for more than 1 day's ride per year with more than one member of management. So it's very clear, but of course it's something that the company's trying to fight is stuck in the in the process of arbitration, but that is what it is. And listen, guys, the only way a steward could do his job is only when you present things to him. We're not mind readers. We can't go chasing things down. You have to come to a steward and let them know the issue, and then we go from there. There is a process, but you got to let somebody know. If you can't help us, we can't help you, and that's basically it. But listen, that's the end of our show. It's a long show, but these are all issues. Let me know. Should we be talking about this or should we not, and continue to ignore it as if this isn't going on? It's it is what it is. It is what it is. But it's going to be talked about. It's going to be addressed, and people need to be held accountable for it. So, like I said, thank you all for coming. God bless America. God bless this union. God bless the working man. Everyone, please continue to be safe, and God bless you all. Good night.